Chapter 2 is not a very long chapter, but it's an important chapter because it's the marrying of your strategic plan and the budgeting that we talked about in chapter 1. So let's talk about what a plan is. A plan is pretty simple. It's a predetermined course of action. In simple terms, a plan is figuring out how do I get from one place where I am now to where I want to be. Now, planning involves how to use your resources and what are you going to do in order to achieve your desired goal. So planning involves a process. But planning in and of itself is not enough. In order for a plan to be effective, there must be an accompanying strategy. Now, the word strategy is very important and is key to planning because strategy is your bridge to get you to where you need to be or where you desire to be. Strategy incorporates the resources that you're going to use. It incorporates the people, the dollars, the systems that you're going to use to accomplish your goals. Now, every company's strategy is going to be different. What the company hopes to accomplish is going to be different. But some of the things that are going to be the same regardless of the company is that the strategy must be very specific and it must be measurable. A company needs to know when they meet their benchmarks, and they need to be able to understand how to accomplish the goals that they set out for themselves. So in order to do that, the strategy must be tailored to each individual goal in order for the sum or the totality of one goal to be reached. Now, in strategic planning, typically, as you'll see, 5 to 10 years for an organization to put together a strategic plan. Now, as you'll see later, you have short-term plans and there are long-term plans. But typically, when you're strategically planning, you are long-term planning as a rule. And these are some of the factors that go into your plan being successful or not: economic, competitive, and industry factors. Now, there are several elements of a strategic plan. Of course, it's the goals and the objectives of a company. But you also want to look at the steps that you need to take in order to accomplish those goals. How many people do you need? How much money do you need? How much space do you need? Who needs to be considered? What have you not thought about? Planning can be for a whole organization or individual units. Typically, when you're putting together a strategic plan, you're planning for smaller parts or individual units that will make up a whole. Your strategic budgeting is that merger. It's the merger between your strategy and your budget. Your strategic budget looks at your organization in totality. It considers your organization's goals. It considers the organization's objectives, what it hopes to accomplish. It considers the organization's strengths. Where are the areas of weakness? How much risk can a company afford? And it looks at the resources, the capital, tangible financial capital, human capital, processes and procedures that are in place, and all the company pieces at the firm's or the organization's disposal to accomplish the goal. Now, people are the ones that are actually developing the strategy, developing the plan, developing the strategic budget. So since people are developing this plan, then there's a lot of subjectiveness that goes into it. So someone's best judgment may be used based on historical facts, based on past performances, based on future prospectus. There's a lot of different measurement tools that are used and are heavily influencing the outcome of the effectiveness of a strategic budget. And those factors can be internal and external. Now, starting on page 34 and ending on page 41, you'll see a lot of detail with long-term planning, short-term planning, what a profit plan is, an operational plan, your development plan, a contingency plan, and you'll see the budgeting processes laid out from page 40 to the end of the chapter. But you want to make sure that you understand that overall strategic planning is vital to any organization being successful. It's very important for a leader to be able to strategically link where we're trying to accomplish and what tools we have to accomplish our goals. Because if that's not done, then the probability of the end result being met is severely lessened.